I must say the horse, I thought very highly of. The disappointed, but he actually physically tore a hamstring. A horse called Greenlight Magic.
Okay.
We bought about 2-3 years ago. He's on the winning spelling farm at the moment, trying to see if she can do something about it. Way more horse than we've ever seen. And but I had a couple of nice horses, but very few.
Well, there is a couple of differences between our co-host today. Now, before I tell you about those differences and who the new co-host is, in Andrew Harrison's absence, we are in the clubhouse at Summerveld, glorious Summerveld clubhouse, and I must tell you that it's quite full today. So it's a little bit noisy in the background, but that's part of the vibe and part of the atmosphere. The differences between our co-host of normal and our co-host of filling in is about 40 years. The new co-host is not nearly as grumpy. In fact, he's not grumpy at all. And the other difference is that he has a head of hair, but it's not so bushy. And the co-host's name is Raheel Radhakrishna. How are you?
Very well, thanks, and yourself, Barend. Good to be here. I don't know if I'll be able to fill in the shoes of Andrew, but I'll certainly try.
Well, you're lucky Andrew doesn't wear shoes.
Oh, well, that's another thing. You're quite right about that.
Our guest on the podcast today is recently relocated to KwaZulu-Natal trainer, Mr. Barend Botes, and it gives me great pleasure to have Barend Botes on our podcast. Barend, how are you?
Well, yourself.
Lovely to have you here, and you were just explaining that you like to go about your business in a quiet manner and keep to yourself. So I know that maybe this is not your ideal sort of scenario, but it's wonderful to have you here, and it's wonderful to hear about how you got involved and what your plans are, and just to wish you all the best here in KZN.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Now, let's talk about where did racing all start for you? That's the most important question I ask everybody. How did it all start? Go take us right back to when you were a youngster and how you got involved in this beautiful sport.
Well, at I think the age of, I'm born in December.
What date in December?
The 25th, I don't think anybody knows that.
Oh, that's
okay,
not far
look at that,
off you,
25th, and myself, I'm born on the 27th, as well as Luke Ferraris, as well as Louis Goosen, so we're all close, 25th.
Well, I was born on the 25th. My sister came 2 years later, 25th. My brother was a year ahead of us, on the 28th.
CCM, how's that? That's not a,
Yeah.
you don't find too many families that are
Well, it's
born
puzzling
like
because there
that.
were no TVs or anything to be serviced those years. There weren't TVs at all.
You were lucky. You got presents twice, Christmas and your birthday.
You don't know my life.
Okay, sorry, so you were saying so, but
Well, 1984, 85, I think it's 85, started off down there, the Jockeys Academy.
Okay.
And beautiful Summerveld. Used to ride work here in the mornings. Moved back to Joburg because I was from there, and always had the idea that I will eventually work my way back to Durban. It was never planned, but the way racing is going at the moment, and thankfully Mrs. Oppenheimer or the MOD ladies saved Joburg racing. The same for Greg Boats and Hollywood in Durban. I think we all should be grateful because if not for them, where would the sport be?
Yeah, absolutely.
And well, the way things are going at the moment, I mean, Cape Town with the incentives and the takeover of Greg Boats and Hollywood, it's impossible to buy a horse from there. Horses in training have become so expensive. And the only way I can survive would be to move to Durban and hopefully buy horses in training from Joburg. I think there'll probably be more people needing or having to come. But at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for the game, not for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we welcome you here with open arms, and it's lovely to have you in the obviously you say you started at the academy, but you've never trained here before.
I was married to Nick van Tonner's daughter. There was a stage of 6 months that we moved up to or down to Pietermaritzburg.
Okay.
We were quite successful there, so I know the tracks at Ashburton I won't say way better than, I mean, it would be similar work at Summerveld. But obviously new year and they also need to adapt to the tracks and the heat. Yesterday we had a runner that came back post-race distress or heat stroke. Apparently it was obviously bad enough. I mean the vets had to revive it. And I think myself, I mean when I first arrived here, I've never sweated that much in my life.
But don't worry.
I don't know how long it takes to adapt.
The humidity kills you.
The heat is terrible, but what is good is that we're in February now, which is our worst month heat-wise.
Yes.
And then, of course, Raheel will be going into our winters, which are absolutely glorious. I think you'll enjoy them here. But
I'm sure.
You certainly will.
Well,
so you've just got a few weeks to get through the heat, and then you'll be sweet.
Well, let's hope so. You know, I come from Laval, so you know, never mind the cold. I mean, there's no comparison.
And Barend, have you moved? Is your home in Hillcrest, Summerveld? Where are you staying?
We still don't have a place to stay. Beautiful people up the road here. We know them from Johannesburg, Leone and Stan van der Berg. They
Put you up
give
for
us
it.
a cottage outside their house. So we've got a lekker little place here to stay until we find something. And yeah, just happy to be here. And I think it's a necessary move. And I think a new life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better life. I mean, there's a life in Durban. There's not much in Joburg.
How many years have you been training for, and sort of where did you start?
I think I started, well, next year would be 40 years in the game.
Sure.
Started in the academy. About 10 years later, I stopped riding because I'm way taller and heavier. And I had to do something else. And I started training. I think bought my first horse called Real Speed at the sales for 27,000. And CP beat Golden Loom as a 2-year-old filly. He was a 3-year-old colt at the time. Never been into buying at the sales that much because I believe horses are not worth the kind of money they go for. And I've always been interested in the breeding and whatever of horses. And you know, if you're going to buy horses for 30, 40,000 at the sales, why be that dumb? I'd rather go and buy a couple of horses in training that have some kind of form and you can make a living out of it.
Yes.
And that's what I've been doing forever.
I was going to say, that's worked for you. That's worked for you, Barend.
Well, if you, okay, those years I knew nothing about breeding. And if I'm going to buy a 30, 40,000 rand horse, I mean, imagine how you, being Marcus Jooster, tell Charles Led to go buy the best horse possible and he has 40 million. Well, just buy all the Sylvanas. You're going to end up with the best and probably a couple of mediocre ones in between. And then when the July, it's okay, well, let's do it again. So there's you could follow a pattern maybe and be successful, or else, well, survive on what you can get hold of. I mean, the cheaper way possible. I've never been out to spend people's money. I always want to be honest. If the horse can't run, I'm not going to steal their money. Get rid of it. Replace it if you want to. Take it wherever you want if you want. Do what's best for you. I mean, I'm here. My sole purpose in this game is to keep my clients happy, and obviously do what's best for the game. Hopefully, at the moment it's tough on everybody. If we can get it to flourish again, so I'd love to speak to Barend Botes, maybe Mrs. Slack or whoever. Jessica knows I've got that breeding program, which is impossible for me to maintain with one little finger.
Yeah.
I've got the Aki that wrote the program, living in Texas in America.
You're very passionate about that breeding program,
Well,
aren't you? And so you should be.
You know, you can speak to Willie Coates, not that I'm the most talkative person. He was the underbidder on Under Your Spell, comedy ding. We went specifically to a sale last or 2 years ago to buy one horse. It was called Without Question.
Sure.
And well, Justin stood next to us, obviously, with John Freeman on his side, and he bought the horse for 350,000. We don't even have buyers for 300. That was the last bid. So we still had to scheme out to put it together. But at the end of the day, John Freeman knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
He knows exactly what he's doing. The one and only horse we wanted ended up, I think, second favourite in the July.
Sure, yeah.
Proper racehorse. But, you know, buy horses in training. Stay alive.
Yeah. That program, which you've put a lot of hours and a lot of passion and dedication, and I mean, we don't want to, it's just something that it's so much easier when you are passionate about something. And you were telling us off air that you've learned so much about breeding and about matings and mares, etc. I mean, it really is unbelievable.
Well, the thing is, it's not that I am the brainy one behind it all. I mean, I listen to what the clever people say and just follow up on it. It started off with, just statistic. Just Excel spreadsheet, and I added numbers to it because numbers tells you a story.
Correct.
And I went Tessia Power and I looked at the brilliant man's formulas and stuff, and I said, okay, if I can find a way to say Piers Jordan was a good racehorse, I will follow up on it. Because I can always go for that cheap to be that good. And got all the DVDs from America, which Barend Botes hosts as breeding seminars. And he has a lot of old people from all over the world, obviously in breeding, whoever stud farms they work on, I don't have a clue. And a lot of them come up with the most ridiculous theories, which just doesn't make sense. But Barend Botes, the young, I'm talking about 15 years ago, he was a young little oakie.
Yes.
And at the end of the seminar, he said, us as bloodstock agents will have a look at sires. Well, that's Tessia Power. That's the chef de race. Okay, that's sires. Okay, we look at females in the first 4 generations and individuals in the first 4 generations. Well, common sense. There's your answer. So if you take an average of the 3 percentages, because Tessia Power has got his dosage formula, so if it works, if you take a percentage of the chef de race, turn it into a percentage, you take the stakes performing or stakes mares that have produced stakes winners or stakes performers, give them a tick, turn it into a percentage. And obviously the same with black type individuals in the first 4 generations. What have they done as individuals, as racehorses? So take an average of the 3 percentages and you'll find that out of 100% Frankel's bred to be 94% racehorse. I think a horse like Glen Eagles is 99%.
Sure.
And you'll find that the super multiple grade 1 winners have 90 and above. South Africa, you get 80 and above, you're doing well. 90s, very few, but you don't miss. But it's not all about numbers. You have to look at the breeding too, where the mares put to the sires that suit them.
Are you big, Barend, on confirmation? I mean, I mean, maybe it's a silly question because there's never a perfect racehorse there. Are you big? I mean, you've had also huge success, and I won't say with problem horses, but I don't know what other word to use, but you've done well with horses that have been given to you with issues. Let's put it that way.
I don't go to sales and look for horses.
Yes.
I buy horses online or whatever is available. So they arrive as is. If they don't have legs, well,
you've got to work with it, fix it. Yeah.
Sort it out. Yeah. I mean, I've had a horse come to me years ago from a trainer who just accepted the horse from somebody else. Trotted the horse up and apparently it had 4 flat tires, so the horse arrived at my stable. Well, let's pick up the feet and see what's wrong. Yeah, well, it had 4 front feet. You know, no wonder it had 4 flat tires.
Yeah.
Boom. A horse called Wisely, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Won a couple for me. Okay.
No. Talking about 4 flat tires, it's a lovely chirp, with you, and I say it respectfully, being a lot younger than the two of us. 4 flat tires, yeah, 4 unsound feet. So
I remember there's a horse quite recent, Captain Dizzy, I think his name is.
Yes.
Doesn't move quite freely.
Well, Captain Dizzy's got a left knee that is, but in a bad shape. Look, one thing I don't X-ray horses. Yeah. You X-ray, you need to operate. I'm not going to operate. I bought a second-hand horse, cost me 40,000. I'm going to spend how much on
X-ray and operation? Yeah.
Never mind the X-ray. That's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
To operate on a horse I just bought for small money.
Yes.
Now, if it's not fixable, well, give it away. Yes. Give it to a girl. Do whatever you want. Yeah. If it's fixable, well, get the job done.
Could be high risk, low reward.
Yeah, at the moment we trying to get hold of a certain medication that can get him up and running again.
How many has he won for you?
Well, he ran 5 times. He won his first 3, he ran second, and then won the 5th one again.
4 wins, 1 second.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's
but he's got a left knee, but he's so good that if you can get him to run sound, you're going to have a racehorse. He's never been perfectly sound, but he's done well enough to say that let's find a way to get him sound, you know.
And that's why I say to you with Barend, and it's a statistic. You talk about numbers, you talk about statistics. I can't remember names of too many horses. I can't remember who won the last race yesterday. Never mind horses that have been through your hands. And you're going to tell us a bit more just now about your good horses, your top horses. But I often, you know, when you follow racing, and Barend has done well.
Yes,
and I'm not saying other trainers don't do well either, but Barend is the man on the podcast, so it's his time to shine. So, yeah, he has done well with as racing terms. They say chuck outs, but that's the wrong word.
Yeah, horse in training.
Horse in training, but so you can be proud of that because you've got horses to achieve that, as you say, that have had issues.
You know, racing is a funny game. People only see the ones that do well. If I ask you who won the July 5 years ago, you'll probably be able to tell me who ran second in that race.
Yeah.
No one knows. It's all about winning. So if you win with another person's horse, I say, hey, what a boykie.
Good point.
And
good point.
look, I must say, it makes me think of the dumbest thing I've ever heard in horse racing. People say horses run on grass, not on paper. Well, what they do on grass gets recorded on paper, so they run on paper.
Yeah. That's so true.
What's your current string looking like?
I've got 23 couple of horses that weren't faring all that well in Johannesburg. You know, they cater for lower class horses in Durban, so the idea would be to see a horse, we spoke about it earlier, Burmese Tiara ran yesterday, came back post-race distress, so you know, let's give her another shot and see. If she's not going to make it, she must go. And I must thank Mr. De Kock, he sent me 2 fillies to lease.
Lovely, fantastic.
Mr. Coates had 2 horses sent to me yesterday, including a filly we bought last year.
Dying to meet
Very
Mr. Winnie
few.
Coates. Where is he based? Joburg?
Joburg.
I know that he works quite closely with Winnie from Grace Stables.
Yeah.
And I'd love to meet Mr. Coates. Maybe we'll have him on our podcast.
Yeah,
one
he's
day.
also a number person, and myself and him can argue. And I said, Mr. Coates, Umuli, it's not an argument. Let's call it debating. We're debating.
So they sent in 2 to you, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, so look, 2-year-olds, I think I only have 5. Quid Pro Quo is the one that ran on Monday.
Very good
I think
run,
she's fairly decent.
And that's by Lance. I was sitting at home the other day, Rahil, and I said to my wife, I said, you know, this was Quid Pro Quo, it was a phenomenal debut, good second run, and I said, by Lance, you know. And my wife said, go and look at the statistics. Lance is very good.
First of all, I shouldn't have done it so soon, but like I told you, my cousin's son, JC Botes, young little lighty, second year in the academy, and he signed his papers about 3 weeks prior to that race. And I spoke to Gerald, which is the owner, and Gentleman Deluxe, and he said, I asked him if it's okay with him if JC rides the horse, but obviously at the deep end, it's a maiden filly against the colts and the winners, and obviously gets all those allowances. Mine is another 4. Let's hope to see that Akira, his first winner, give him a bit of confidence. But I must say, you talk about Lance and Quid Pro Quo, Gerald breeds himself under his own name. Now, look, there's been interviews where they say a homebred horse, and Gerald doesn't hold horses in his backyard. He lives in Heidelberg in a beautiful house. I've been there. He doesn't have horses there. He bred at Summerveld under Mickey Goss and a couple of other breeders in Durban. And but he breeds under his own name. Gerald bred the filly. Now the same breeding program I have. A couple of years ago, Gerald said to me which sires would I recommend for his mares. And strangely enough, myself and Mickey got to exactly the same sires. And since then, Gerald's been breeding off my breeding program. So every year we sit and we discuss every mare and say what's available in Cape Town. And so Gerald is bred, if I'm not mistaken, about 2 years ago, he bred Natal champion.
Yes.
Sprinter in Natal, Kaiser in Natal.
The name escapes me, but you're 100% right.
So, no, Gerald breeds a good horse. He put her on the sale, wasn't happy with the price, bought her back himself. Best thing he could ever have done. I think the filly's quite decent. Begging for distance. I think 1,000's way too short for her.
Okay.
And but she's still learning.
But he was very good with his. As you say, when you had a lot more horses and when he was younger, they used to turn them out.
Yeah, I used to ride them myself, and I had different ideas, which also worked. But you know, speed kills. I found that out, and I've changed my ideas, and it seems to work better this way around.
Yes.
And I think I've calmed down in the head a little bit. And Well, let's see what happens.
Let's talk about your team. I mean, because every operation, comes with a team. Do you have, your head lads and staff too? Talk about your team.
Everyone, barring one of our grooms, came with us. The one Daniel left behind. He's on medication and he doesn't want to leave because he needs to be at the clinic once or twice a week. And
Shame. Okay.
so anyway, he's looked after. He stayed behind. Donald Monatisa, he's been registered as a stable employee for a good couple of years, I don't know how long. He goes racing with me, saddles. When I don't go racing, he obviously can get the job done. And all of them came along with me, and that's the lot of, us only.
Okay.
I'm no boss to nobody. I don't see myself as a boss. We work together as a team.
Oh, that's the right.
Like I said about Wisely, if you always had 4 flat tires, well, pick up the foot. Do something about it. Have a look. I mean, it doesn't help. Get the vet for every reason. I mean, surely you can identify what's wrong with the horse yourself. Especially if you've been in the game for a couple of years.
Barend, you're talking about being in the game for a couple of years. Graded, let me get it right. Graded winners. You've had plenty.
I've had graded winners, but I've never. The problem with graded winners is you need young horses. You're not going to buy a horse in training that has the potential to win. I mean, we got Light to the Moon we had last year, came from Justin Snaith, not downing him in any way. I mean, the filly was still immature and needed longer distance. If it wasn't for Kevin Somerville telling me to nominate her in the Oaks Trial in Joburg, we probably would never have done what we did with her. She won the Oaks Trial, ran second in the Joburg Oaks, was supposed to stay out of the way of Rain in Holland for the Wellington Cup. Rain in Holland got scratched. We put her in as a reserve runner, ran second in the Wellington, came out to run second in the Durban Oaks. So she done very well for us. But I mean, that's support I got from Mrs. Rupert and Kevin.
Yes.
And very thankful for that. But those kind of horses don't come your way on a chuck card sale.
Yes.
And stakes winners, we won the Golden Horseshoe, Port of London. Was sold to Tony Miller, I think, in Hong Kong.
Yes.
Owned by Donnie Durant. We've had multiple. I mean, my first little 27,000 rand horse won that, what was it called? Germiston.
Okay.
2-year-old fillies race.
Okay. Not
Real Speed.
Okay.
She holds the course record in Bloemfontein. Will always hold the course record in Bloemfontein.
It was a
over
great
1,000.
race course. I mean, you would obviously never been to Bloemfontein, but I used to love going racing there. It was in the restaurant. You walk into the restaurant, and there's Gary Rich sitting in the far corner there. He would remember because I went with him. You'd walk into the Bloemfontein restaurant, and he said to me once, he said, all you can get is steak. I said, don't talk nonsense. What restaurant gives you only steak? He says, I'm telling you.
I was going to say the same
thing. And you walk
thing.
there and they say, hello, they don't ask you, they just say, how would you like it done and what sauce? That's it. How would you like it and what sauce? Because that was only steak.
There are three options on the menu. Steak, and steak.
You know what? And it was the best piece of steak I've ever eaten. Quite right. Remember those days, Gary? Remember those days, Bloemfontein steak days? Yeah, absolutely. Those steak and steak.
Round little steak filled up with
mushroom sauce, cheese sauce.
Yeah, you had an option of 3 sauces.
Mushroom sauce, cheese sauce, and black pepper sauce. That was it. But Bloemfontein was another
place.
But
that was used to be our playground. If I tell you the Bloemfontein days, I used to ride work in the mornings. Myself and my brother, when I first started, hop into the car. I mean, I don't know about speed limits, fines, whatever, but flew down. I mean, I think we'd probably done it in 2 hours and some change. And we get to that little garage just before you take
the race course. Yeah, there's a garage.
Up that hill, just a bite and shower, wash your hair with shampoo. I mean, that's the only thing that gets washed. You get Kalgat there, undressed, boop, onto the course. Tick, tick, tick.
What was the course called?
Bloemfontein.
The Bloemfontein Turf Club. It didn't have like a grave, but it was Bloemfontein Turf Club. Yeah. Okay, but who would you say was your biggest winner, your best horse? I mean,
I had a horse called England Swings. I think he was top class. I must say the horse I thought very highly of. The disappointed, but he actually physically tore a hamstring. A horse called Greenlight Magic.
Okay.
We bought about 2-3 years ago. He's on winning spelling farm at the moment, trying to see if she can do something about it. way more horse than we've ever seen. And but I had a couple of nice horses, but very few. Horses in training, I must say, Golden Pheasant, unbelievable horse.
Golden Pheasant.
I think
That's
he
right.
changed hands about
Remember
6
Golden
times,
Pheasant.
and we've had him for 10 months, and I think in the COVID stakes earned us 710,000 in 10 months. I mean, what a beautiful horse, but he was already here.
And another gentleman that we know, and we know a lot of people in racing, who also had a share was Andre from overseas.
Andre van Schaik.
Yeah, he had a share in Golden Pheasant, didn't he?
Yeah, no,
Yes,
what a character.
Absolutely.
what a
Loved his
nice
racing, loves his racing, and knows all about it.
Which horse sort of brought you the greatest joy?
Yeah, I was going to. Oh, good question.
Because it may not be the most successful horse that you train, but
You know, I
could have been a
might,
horse that.
satisfaction. You thought,
Yeah.
sure, that was a good training feat.
I don't think I ever think
That you
of it
couldn't
that
wait
way.
to see in the morning.
No, you're very humble. You're very
Yeah,
humble. You
all
don't
of
think that
them,
way.
to me, the good ones I like, the bad ones I don't. My favorite is the best one.
Okay.
So it's just the way it works. I think everybody, I can bluff you all I like, that's the way it works in horse racing.
Yes, yeah.
And the better ones, you put in cotton wool and you make sure. But you treat every horse the same.
Yeah,
you've got to
absolutely.
do the best for everyone. You're going to try the best you can. But obviously, you don't feel that much for the ones that don't have ability.
Yeah.
You might say I'm heartless. Well, I'm not heartless. Somebody has to feed that horse.
Yes.
Somebody has to pay for it. And if it doesn't perform, cut your balls, give it away. Somebody can maybe put a smile on a little girl's
Girl's
face.
face, or do some dressage, or jumping.
Yeah,
or-
replace it, whatever. Look, I must say, owners in general become family, especially in my case. I don't see people, I don't go to work to make friends, I don't go to work to eat lunch, I don't go to races to make friends. At the Val, I used to go to the back and sit with Rowley and watching the jockey do. Our owners know they need to bring their own entertainment if they come racing because
You're not an entertainer.
I don't know.
You had to do well in the.
I
in
tried
racing,
drinking a bit when I was younger, makes a fool of me, myself, and I don't like that. And it's all about the job. I go racing, it's my job. Owner goes racing, it's his entertainment.
Good point.
You
Good
go
point.
to races
To work.
enjoy your horse,
Yeah.
bring your buddies, let them enjoy it with you.
Good point.
Bring
Barend.
them,
That's
take a
very
photo with them, put it on the wall, put it in your bar, let them see themselves.
Yeah. You're there to work. Yeah, good point. That is a good point.
You go there, you have to stress, you have to do the best you can for them.
Yeah.
So, I get a trophy, well, the owner wants it, they can have it. I don't want it, the groom can have it.
Yeah.
Trophy means nothing to me.
I'm glad you mentioned, because you mentioned a saying just now, which it's just slipped my mind, but I made a note of. Yes, you said horses. Those people say don't run on grass, they run on, or they don't run on paper, they run on grass, or whatever that saying is. Because I got heavily, what's the word? Insulted, heavily punished because I went, and I'm so happy to hear so many presenters in the country are using the. I often say a horse will never lose its ability, but it may lose its form. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, you're right, and there's reasons for it. Horses get older.
Yes.
Fillies, horses get hurt.
Yeah.
Some of them, they deteriorate in time.
Yeah, they train off a bit,
arthritis,
or-
as they get older,
Yes.
it deteriorates. It's like any bone in any athlete. Look at a rugby player. Look at
Yes.
those American football players end up with brain damage years to come with the concussion they've had over. It comes with age.
With age and its time, yeah.
Horses run on grass, not on paper.
Because it gets what they do on grass.
It's the
it gets
dumbest thing
recorded.
I've ever heard. Why would breeders, why don't you just take any man and chuck it to every sire? Everything in life's got to do with numbers and patterns.
Yeah.
Now, if the horse runs on grass and not on paper, so what's put on the paper?
Yeah.
What is done on the grass?
Yes, well, it's done.
That's put on paper. So horses run on paper.
Yeah.
It's common
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah. Okay, and there we go. So, and it has been nice to see some horses that have maybe been a little off form bring their ability back. And
Same with breeding. Why would you go to a specific sire? Because it works best with his mare.
yeah, absolutely. Raheel wanted to chat to you a little bit about because your horses are always in pristine condition, but you do something special with your horses, and he wanted to talk about that.
What's the reason behind the mane being shaved off?
Well, I think there could be one or two reasons. The reason why I done it, years ago when I was still an apprentice, old man C.L. van Niekerk used to shave his manes, and to me it was nice and clean. The horses present themselves well, and you could see more of the horse. You could have a skinny little filly with a little pencil neck, and well, it looks quite nice and puffed up with the mane. The main reason why I do it, I used to ride work myself, and you always have the hair in your face, and especially in races, the jockeys change their whip, and a lot of times they grab hold of the mane. So the mane can cost you races. And
That's a nice ring. Is it a ringtone or a message tone?
It's a message.
That's
It's
nice.
a WhatsApp call.
That's nice. We need that.
It's a WhatsApp call. So anyway, that's the reason why I shave it off. But it could also be a sign of instability. Well, it's a handful of us that do it. Look, I'm just joking. Quibber's Roo, myself, Louis Goosen, I don't know about anybody else. But,
Yeah, Duncan Howes used to do it too.
I think it looks good. It looks good. I mean, the horses present themselves
But
well.
that's interesting what Barend says about the grabbing, when you're changing your stick, grabbing hold of the reins.
You don't want anything in the way.
Yeah, you don't want anything in the way, yeah.
Well, how many times you've seen jockey battle to change his stick because he grabs hold? Look, the other thing about it, the manes as well, they need to be maintained. It doesn't happen by itself. So somebody physically has to sit and pull the mane and sit with a little comb, and it takes forever. Other people again plait them and put little pieces of elastics. I mean, who in the world's got time for that?
Your owners are always behind you, and you've got a lovely band. You mentioned Gerald Khalil, who's having such a great success at the moment, and long may it continue for him. He supports a lot of trainers. But owners have obviously embraced your move. They wouldn't be with you if they hadn't. And Gerald too has been a long time friend.
Well, they've all come along, and look, I must say some of the horses I brought might not have the form, and they might not be good enough. And look, they had to pay the fee to have the horses moved here, and let's hope they all do well. But look, I mean, I don't know all my owners all by hand. A friend of Tex Arena, Yopi, he's got Baldwin Bliss. I don't know if she'll be suited to the tracks on the side. She needs a long vowel straight to unwind. I thought Scottsville would be more down the alley. I think Grey will be way too sharp for her.
Okay.
And I spoke to Yopi, and he said, look, we've been together. It's his first horse ever. It's won him a couple of races, and he says, let's give it a shot. So if worse comes to worse, you can always go back, send it to someone in Joburg at the Val. Willie Coates, Fivos Michaelides. Look, I don't have owners, they become my friends.
Yes.
I don't mix with people that much. I sit at the stables, do whatever I can that's productive, try and figure out what's new in horse racing, what I can change statistically, what's happening in horse racing, what's happening as far as breeding is concerned. Download the Longines Champions every year, January, to see what has value, add whatever I can to the breeding program, share it with whoever needs to. When it comes to breeding, Willie Coates, Gerald Khalil, whoever else. I mean, it's not that I keep it a secret. I wouldn't mind Mrs. Oppenheimer obviously invested so heavily in the Joburg racing, which means a lot to all of us. I mean, beside her and Greg Botes, Hollywood, what they've put into the game, if it's not for them, we wouldn't be here. And I can't see racing ever recover if it wasn't for them. I mean, if we lose horse racing, we will never come back. I mean, if you look at that exchange rate, we can never go by and start all over again. So look, I mean, I'm honestly, I don't care about money and things, and I think that's the reason why I battle with people, because everybody wants to just accumulate. I mean, don't know what for. I mean, I have more than I need. I invite them. I mean, Stephen Joel has seen it, Jessica has seen it, Greg Boats can come and see it, help me get it to be world class. Have artificial intelligence put into it, let it, and they can have it. It's a gift to horse racing. Get our owners to say, listen, go breed with my mare, I can breed a potential champion.
Cool.
Give it to horse racing, give it to the game. See if we can get the game to revive itself. I mean, we're sitting on 2,500 horses. We're breeding a year where we used to breed 6.5. How do we get the racing back up? Is it possible? Yes. But things need to be done. And, well, I don't speak to people, so I have spoken to Greg Boats, and I said to him, Mr. Boats, I can see what you're doing. I like your idea.
Yeah.
And but I mean, racing's bigger than us. I mean, we've been our lives. We talk about jockeys, trainers, owners, whoever's still in the game. We've ploughed for how many years to get it to where we are at the moment. And I think COVID's taken away a lot of our weaker mares, which is a good thing. Now we need owners to start breeding. And you know, if you take your mare to the sire that suits her best, you could end up with the next champion.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
the only place where there's money in racing at the moment, and not bad-mouthing racing, we have been saved. We are thankful for it. But the only money, and it makes no sense to me, is at the sales. Horses are going for way more than they can earn. But obviously everybody with money is fighting to get the next champion. Well, good sir, young lady, if you have a mare, try and breed it to the right sire and hope to breed yourself a superstar.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's possible. The possibility is there.
Well, there's
the availability of the possibilities is there. It's a gift to horse
somebody
racing.
was telling us that the fillies guineas. Now, the fillies guineas, the first 3 past the post were all homebreds. When I say homebreds, not in their back garden, but Drakenstein, Maritzfontein. So, and that's exactly what you say they're doing too. Yes, they had to breed and to sell, but for owners to breed, you could breed the next champion. Give me another as a champion. They bred it, they tried.
Yeah, are you talking about the Highveld guineas or the Cape Town one?
The Highveld.
Oh,
So give me another.
That's lost.
Yeah, Wilgebor's and Rimmelsfontein are together, but it was
But you talk about the top breeders here.
Yeah,
and you know, the
absolutely.
top breeders in the centre where all the top sires are, and they know what they're doing.
That's
They're no idiots.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, I spoke to Kevin Somerville, and what I'd done at first, I'd put all the stakes winners in broodmare sire, and you have a look at the sires, and you have a look to see what dam sires they prefer, and if you look from the dam sire up, you see that which sire dominates in the lines. So you pick up the nicks, the direct nicks, you pick up the lines. And I spoke to Kevin about it, and he says, boy, but you have to look at percentages. We spoke about it earlier. You know, if you sit with Silvana man, you say, Silvana's produced more stakes winners out of Kurari than any other sire.
Cool.
Okay, the reason for it is because it had more.
Yes.
Percentage, very low.
Yeah.
There are higher percentages. So thank you, Mr. Somerville. So I've added all the percentages. Not only the percentages, percentage of runners per mating, percentage of winners per mating, percentage of stakes winners per mating, percentage of stakes winners out of the amount of winners. So we got all the percentages. And now honestly, I mean it when I say, come have a look at it. It's a gift to horse racing. If we can get people to breed their own horses and get horse racing back where it belongs.
No, it's last thing there's 2 more things I want to talk to you about, Barend, before we wish you well and send you on your way. Is you mentioned your cousin's son, JC Botes, who's at the academy. He's going to have his first ride. We're really going to look forward to that. But you must be proud too to have a family member that's there, and he must be so happy to have you under his, under your wing and with your guidance. Must be something that you're really looking forward to being involved with.
Well, I think it's more than that. First of all, I came here because I have to survive, and meaning I have to be able to buy horses in training, which obviously is common sense, and I'm here. The second thing is, I mean, life's an adventure. It's not about what I can take. It's about what you can give. Now, when I was young, my dad were 5 brothers, and the little cousins used to come on weekends, and we all, I mean, those were different days. I mean, we talk about years ago. I mean, we roamed the streets. We used to go and climb the fences and jump in the school swimming pools and stuff, and go fish on the golf course. But we were naughty little kids. But the little naughty cousin I had was this same little JC's dad. And besides my mom and brother that still lives in Joburg, all my cousins, the only relatives I have left, all live in Durban.
Okay.
So I've got family on this side, but I've got the young little kiddie on this side here with me. I see him every morning. And I think he needs to be coached properly. According to the riding masters, some of the trainers, I haven't seen him ride myself. They say he's a decent rider. And, well, coach as far as riding, well, he can speak to Garth Puller, Mace Roberts. I mean,
Sure,
he's got everything here.
Robbie Hill, they're all here. Yeah.
The idea would be to introduce him to them, to have him not be like me, speak to them.
Yes.
Discipline, speak to the people the way you should be, conduct yourself in a proper manner, dress properly, speak properly,
Work hard. Work hard. That's the,
put in the hours, do more than the rest, work harder than the rest. Do whatever I can, and obviously the hope would be to support him, because I mean the jockeys are, a jockey, trainer, doesn't matter who you are, you and the horse are one.
Yes.
You're only as good as the horse. You don't have horses, you will not survive. I say what I think, and obviously it doesn't make me too popular. Not too long ago, Louis Goosen said that I'm battling to survive. And now he's got a couple of horses, Louis Goosen's the boss again. You understand?
He's doing so well,
if you don't have the horse, you can do nothing.
Yeah.
It's all about the horse. You want to win July? Well, have the clients. Be Mr. De Kock, who obviously I have a lot of respect for. He will be more successful because you've got the buying power.
Yeah. There was
Justin Snaith, whoever else. I mean, if you have the Ruperts and the Oppenheimers, whatever, supporting you, who breed the best, select the best, give it to the best, and sell the rest.
Breed success, absolutely. Yeah.
Obviously, I will also hold on to the best so that I can have the best to breed with again and whatever. I mean, it's just common sense the way life works.
Absolutely.
But I still don't believe horses are worth millions. I don't think any horse is worth that kind of money. I mean, you can buy a Worm's full brother. It might not be the same. Depends on the genetics you get from the mother and father. You buy a Worm's half brother, you'll pay a bit less. You buy a Worm's full brother because of the nick or the Worm having been there, you're going to pay top dollar.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you're buying a Worm.
100%.
Absolutely.
I think we've seen that because there's a horse that Candace Bass trains that his half brother is Hawam, Rainbow Bridge, Golden.
I think there's a horse called In Limbo at 1A race, went to PE.
Yes.
But the thing is, genetics is genetics. Depends on who you get it from.
Yes.
Out of your, how many, I think 30 odd in the 4 generations ancestors. You have more of a chance buying the full brother. And who knows, a different breed might be even better.
Yes.
But I mean, if you look at the Rainbow, whoever
Rainbow
that, I mean, look at the mother.
Halfway to heaven.
Halfway to heaven. I mean, look at every single one's a champion, doesn't matter who it goes to. It's breeding. I mean, horses, are they valued, or should their value be $1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7? We're not racing for that kind of money. They will never earn it. A couple of 100,000, maybe $1 million or 2, depending on the breeding. Is it worthwhile or bred to be a potential sire? Well, then we have to keep it a colt.
Yes.
If it doesn't perform at that level, it will never be. Fillies, well, don't sell your fillies. Breed with them.
Barend, you are proudly sponsored by World Sports Betting. How did that come about?
World Sports Betting had a horse with me, and obviously I speak to Steve Carrum quite often. I've known him for many years, and when I told him I'm in the process of moving to Durban, he says, "Boykie, you move to Durban, we'll sponsor you." So I'm thankful for the sponsorship. I mean, it's the first time for me, and well, I'm bringing a bit of Joburg with me. Well, it's definitely welcome, and I hope I can make them proud.
Does it boost your confidence that you've got one of the leading bookmakers behind you?
Well, you talk about leading bookmakers. I mean, you got Hollywood, you got Lance Michael. I mean, I've got also Lance Michael. Yeah. Lance Michael's a mate of mine. I think he's a gentleman deluxe. Steve Carrum, I don't know. Warren Tanner, isn't it?
Warren Tanner, yes.
If I see him, I probably know him, but I mean, I don't know who Warren Tanner is. Steve Carrum offered it to me, and obviously I'd like to help wherever I can to uphold their good name.
but it also because it helps, as you say, with it does make you proud as the leader of your stable, and they come with beautiful overalls and caps and incentives and rewards, and it is
just
good.
before the interview, you said to me, listen, you can answer the call. I walked out there and it was Adrian, some okay from World Sports Betting, and he said to me, listen, your overall size is this, that, and whatever. I'm the one, and I'm sending them, and I'm half the sizes because of, look, your pants size and the overall size, they differ completely. So he says, listen, just in case of confusion, I said to him, send me a little 5-year-old and a little 8-year-old shirts. It's 2 little young girls that will be wearing your, do something different.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think we all need to be thankful for what Hollywood's doing.
Yes.
World Sports Betting is doing quite a bit in Johannesburg as far as sponsoring of races and whatever. I mean, everybody is doing their piece.
Absolutely.
And we got the most beautiful game in the world. I mean, what a pleasure. I mean, I could have been a plumber, I could have been an engineer, I could have been Einstein. I mean, I want to be here. I want to work with horses. That's the most beautiful thing ever.
That's what so many people, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's what we want to do. We want to work with horses. It's, as I say to everybody, we've all got that disease. We've all got African horse sickness. We're all sick for the game. We're all sick for horses. And that's just what is so beautiful.
Well, you want to tell me there's something wrong with the
sickness.
Queen of England? Okay, now it's the King of England. I mean, surely there can't be much wrong with him. What about
all the sheikhs.
what's it, Mr. Woodstock's daughter?
Yes, Princess Charlene.
Yes.
From Monaco.
Yeah, there can't be anything wrong with her. She loves
Come
horses.
on.
All the horses. We all got
The best of
horses
the best in the world. I mean, the cream of the world owns horse racing.
Oh, lovely Barend.
The sheikhs.
The sheikhs, all the sheikhs.
I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously, if the wealthiest people in the world are involved in horse racing, the reason why is because it's the most glamorous sport to be in.
100%.
It's the most noble animal around.
It is the most noble animal around.
What's they say? There's something on the outside of the horse does something to the inside of a man.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That's a fact, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a fact, yeah. Barend, we're running out of time, but it's been lovely to chat with you and to tap on your knowledge. And the team wanted to sit with you and welcome you into KwaZulu-Natal on behalf of Gold Circle and behalf of everybody involved with KZN Racing. Welcome. If there's anything we can do, we're here for you. And I'm sure you're training amongst some top quality horsemen and horsewomen out there. All the very best, and we look forward to either Raheel, myself, Dees, Paul, or Sheldon to do our first interview with you since your relocation. We wish you and your team all the best.
No, thank you very much. I think the last thing I want to say before I leave, I mean, that's the beauty of coming back to Durban as well. I mean, you talk about, okay, first of all, you talk about trainers here in the mornings that have also put in their life's worth. If you look at Mace Roberts, Garth Puller, Robbie Hill, ex-jockeys, the trainers here, they were assistants when I was 14 years old.
Sure.
The trainers were trainers when I was 14 years old. If you look at Mike Miller and some of the older trainers nowadays, I mean, but these are people I've known all my life. In Joburg, look, I was never too involved with people as such. I know everybody in Joburg and I have a lot of respect for them. I think the person that's done the most for horse racing or South African horse racing, and I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves, is Michael de Kock. I mean, I think he took our name out there years ago.
To Dubai, and yeah, absolutely.
To Dubai, traveled the world, gave us a door, a porthole into the rest of the world.
Yes.
And I don't think he's ever been given the credit he deserves for it. And it's just a pleasure to be back and see the respect and obviously be able to show the respect towards the people I've known all my life. You know, we started here at many moons ago. We're still here. And we're all still doing the best we can to make the best of what we have.
Yeah. Well, lovely. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Barend.
sir.
All the best to you. Raheel, to sit and talk to Barend, who's, you can clearly see, passionate, loves the game, loves the sport, and has got so much to offer and opinions on certain things.
You learn a lot more about people than what you just see on TV. You know, you just see this man when he does interviews, and you wouldn't sort of get that insight that he could have so much to offer. And I mean, just listening to him, and and what he thinks about his breeding program. And he's obviously done a lot of homework and a lot of studying, and you can see he's put a lot of hours into it, and he's as you mentioned, he's very passionate about it.
And he's offering it to the industry.
100%.
He's sent out a shout out, or he's sent out an appeal to to all the role players in the country that get hold of him and let's
and hopefully there are people out there that manage to get a hold of him, and it becomes into something that I'm sure that he hopes it could be.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's talk a bit about news. The final segment is the news, because we've been smelling freshly cooked bacon, eggs, sausages for a long time now. If you haven't come to the Summerveld Clubhouse for breakfast, you don't know what you're missing. It's open to the public, and the view is spectacular. But Raheel and I need to get some sustenance into our tummies. But I was chatting to Paul Gadsby, who is obviously a trainer and is the owner of Vikings Restaurant up in Ashburton. He tells me that he's running a Valentine's dinner special. So, of course, we need to ensure we book restaurants and do things for the 14th of February. A very special day is the 14th of February. So get hold of Vikings Restaurant up in Ashburton Clubhouse if you need to secure a spot for you and your loved one.
I think yesterday Dee's read out something. Go Circle doing something as well for guys. There's some betting vouchers as well to be won, and there's a few different rewards as well. So I think that the people out there that obviously enjoy having a bet. So I think it's a win if you lose competition or something of that sort. So it's something out there for guys
and you win a table at the Durban View.
Yes, correct. Okay, so
fantastic.
There's some nice rewards there
for Valentine's Day. We're giving you lots of notice, ladies and gentlemen, so don't get caught napping. Lots of notice for Valentine's Day. Andrew's at the Bush, and as I said, we've got our colleague and good friend who's helped us. Thank you for your time. It's much appreciated. Andrew at the Bush, he's having a lovely time. He loves it. He's sending pictures of leopards, lions, fabulous birds, just to tease me. But we hope that he's having a good holiday. He's deserved it. He served the industry and continues to serve the industry. But he served the industry for so many years, and he is semi-retired, and he certainly deserves the enjoyment. Social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Gold Circle Racing. Follow us. We know you're following us already, but tell your friends and family about it. The Gallop YouTube channel. It's a fabulous channel that all the replays, all the interviews, all the selection shows that we all feature on. Like, follow, subscribe. It really, I was having a look at the statistics, and the public are really getting behind these pages and these websites and these YouTube channels, which is good because the information there is outstanding.
No, 100%, and we're trying our best to get as much information out there as we can, and obviously with time I'm sure it will grow, and obviously I see that the views are starting to pick up on selection shows, and it's good. Hopefully that the shows are being are helpful to the guys, and they're managing to get to the audience that they need to get.
And of course, don't forget to get your bets on all the various sports betting. I took a soccer all to come last night, 5 teams, and of course I went 1 out, 4 winners, 1 out. Anyway, on Tab Gold, get your Tab Gold bets on, and Track and Ball, and that's where you can take all your soccer bets and your cricket and rugby and all this different sporting bets. And of course, we've touched on the Gallop YouTube channel. Please like us, subscribe, and follow. Lastly, did you see that Harry Bentley rode a double at Happy Valley on Wednesday? So the 4-year Happy Valley Racing, Harry Bentley at a double. And how's this for news? I mean, it's maybe a little old now because it happened a few days ago. But Willie Mullins at Leopardstown, 8 Group 1s. 8 Group 1s.
It's
I mean,
brilliant.
that's unbelievable. And which one of them was, of course...
the Hollywood Syndicate horse. And
that was a gutsy one.
I worked in Gallop one of the days, and there were 4 grade 1s on the card, and the one he got beaten, and the rest he won, all Willie Mullins and Paul Tanner, and it just goes to show that he's got quality horses, and he just dominates. And I mean, 8 Group 1s in, I think, a matter of a couple of days, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And touching on the Hollywood Syndicate was that was dug down deep to
I must say, that was an unbelievable victory.
He was a beaten horse. Going through the 100, and from the 50 to the finish, he just dug down deep, and he showed a lot of heart, a lot of courage, and the pronunciation of the name, I'm not going to get it
No,
right, so I'm not going to...
you got it so right. What is the horse's name?
I'm not going to try. I think it's like Ile Toms or something of that sort, but a brilliant horse and wonderful for the Hollywood Syndicate. It's not even that, I mean, I know that they reached their 500 win, I think it was last week or the week before, but they shine in on the global stage, which is an amazing feat for them, and it's something that I'm sure would have probably wouldn't have even been a dream, because I don't think as an ownership you dream of things like this. You probably dream of group races, but 500 winners to win on an international stage, I mean, it's just a brilliant feat.
Yeah, but they've put their weight, they've put their minds, they've put their weight, they've put their money behind the industry internationally, and wow, they're reaping the rewards, as do all the role players in the horse racing industry. But yeah, that Group 1 for Hollywood at Leopardstown, well done to them, absolutely fabulous. And of course, under the guidance of Anthony Delpesh, who's also doing a fabulous job with each and every one of their horses. Last bit of news, of course, we saw Ripple Effect win on World Sports Betting Met Day. And Ripple Effect is owned by Paardeberg Stud. We do also talk a little bit about breeding in new farms. We've seen Hopes and Dreams Stud have their first, second, and I think third sale. So they're new into the breeding ranks down in the Cape. And they've had some successful sales thus far. Paardeberg Stud is the new stud, the next new stud. And we need, as you've heard from Barend, we need breeders. We need owners to breed. We need horses to race. So they're all part of the industry.
Whereabouts are they based?
Paardeberg Stud are based down in the Cape. I'm not sure exactly where. I think possibly in the Paarl area, but I stand to be corrected. But I know that they are in the Western Cape. I did drive past their farm when I was there over the weekend of the Met. But I just can't remember exactly where they're located. So to all at Paardeberg Stud, we wish them all the very best in their breeding endeavours, and with Ripple Effect and with all the interests going forward. And talking about studs and sales, the Cape yearling sale that took place the week of the World Sports Betting Met, it was an absolutely fantastic occasion, Raheel. The ICC, the Cape International Conference Centre was done out beautifully for Cape sales, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day out. It was a brilliant sale with some fabulous results, so well done to them as well. But now it's time for the next sale, and we've already advertised it, but I want to refresh your memory. It's the Bloodstock South Africa Cape Yearling Sale 2024. Takes place at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth Racecourse in Cape Town on the 25th of February, obviously 2024. There is the catalogue. Don't get my plastered fingers in. It was beaten up in the boxing ring, but Bloodstock South Africa Cape Yearling Sale 25th of February. And just to mention a couple of horses that have come from this sale: Raskover, Main Defender, Elula's Star, Hoodspruit, Zarina, Waterbury Lane, Heaven's Girl, Bold Fortune, Asterix, Gem King, Sprinkles, and Homely Girl. So we really are blessed with some good sales from both sales companies around the country. That's a wrap from us. Thank you to Raheel. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. I know you've been busy doing some interviews this morning for the TV show, but it's been a great podcast. We miss Andrew from the team behind the scenes. Thank you to them for all that they do for us. We will see you as always in the number one box. Be safe, be happy, be nice, punt well. See you at the races. Remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on the Gallop TV YouTube channel. If you missed last week's episode of In the Box Seat, click right here and you'll be able to watch it at your leisure.